My first trip to Israel was in the summer of 1983 for my bar mitzvah. My mother had lived in Jerusalem from 48 until 56 and had not been back, and she was determined that this was going to be her trip home, and it was the occasion of my bar mitzvah. And what I really remember most, I remember two things very clearly. One, that it was my first flight ever, and sitting with my two younger sisters in a row in an old-fashioned El Al 747 and driving the rest of the passengers nuts out of boredom. And the other thing I remember, which is far more meaningful, was reading the Torah and having an aliyah at the Western Wall and watching from the other side of the mechitza my mother with tears running down her cheeks and my little sisters with her. So for me, it was an extremely special moment. As my most inspirational memory of Israel was probably climbing Masada at dawn, getting up to the top in time for sunrise, and then screaming over the walls of Masada that Masada shall not fall again in Hebrew, because of the symbolism to what the IDF soldiers do and the protection of Israel, and being acutely aware that I'm probably the first generation, or one of the first generation of Jews around the world that has grown up with Israel and Jerusalem as its capital, and it's really a remarkable inspiration to be up there and share what the Israeli soldiers do and to be a part of that piece of Jewish history. My funniest Israeli story, or at least the one that's most memorably funny to me, is back in the summer of '95. I was working at Tel Aviv University as a researcher for the Jaffe Center for Strategic Studies, and I was there with a couple of buddies that I had known in college, and we did a road trip overnight, and we were up in Tiberias, and on our way home on Sunday night, we went to the Tachanat Merkazit, the central bus station in Tiberias, and I stop at one of these little falafel stands. My friend is panicked that we're going to miss the bus, so I get my order of falafel from this stand. I start chewing into a falafel ball, and there's a rubber band in the falafel ball itself. So I show it to the woman. I'm actually dangling the rubber band with the falafel ball at the woman, and this old Russian woman who runs the kiosk just looks me in the face and says, "Zeh koreh." It happens. And I don't think I ever got my 7 shekels back, but to this day I still laugh at this woman just looking at me like it's my fault for buying the falafel ball with the rubber band, because it happens. I hope that over the course of the next several years, the connection between the local Jewish community and Israel will continue to grow and strengthen and foster. Part of the priority within this context is the Partnership Together program, which builds living bridges between local community members and the Jewish state of Israel. For historical reasons, Israel has always been a central core of the connection of Jewish identity in local Jewish communities. But that now framework is taking an evolutionary step forward in how it's perceived, with Israel being more of an equal partner to the local Jewish communities and offering a lot more for us in terms of strengthening our own Jewish identity, and as an opportunity for us to bring more people into the local Jewish community through that connection. So I believe that Israel is important to the local Jewish community now as ever, and I look forward to strengthening that in the future.